DNC Night 4 recap. Let's go ahead and get into it. So Night 4 is going to be split into two TikToks. One's going to be Kamala Harris's speech that deserves its own thing. And there's this TikTok that's going to deal with the policy issues as well as the approach of her campaign. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. What issues were covered in terms of her campaign? So the campaign focus areas were independent and undecided voters, as well as Project 2025, Kamala Harris's character, January 6th, as well as former Trump supporters. And what was also focused on was support for the Harris-Walz ticket. In terms of issues that her platform will more than likely cover, because that is what is focused on Night 4, those focus areas that she will more than likely adopt into her platform again. So she looked at, areas that were covered were education, childcare, and college affordability, housing, healthcare, and Medicare, international stability and national security in the military, the economy, firearm legislation, the climate, reproductive rights, and women's autonomy. So let's go ahead and move on down. So Mia Moore and Representative Veronica Escobar opened up Night 4. Representative Veronica Escobar presided over the evening. The evening opened with a video really focusing in on Kamala Harris. This is going to be the final impact video. It focused on Kamala Harris for the people, that she is ready to be president day one. That was from Joe Biden, and that she helped to unite NATO behind Ukraine in their time of need in terms of the conflict with Russia. So as it relates to education, childcare, and college affordability, the National Association of Education and the American Federation of Teachers, which are unions, were there. They pushed back against Trump's plan to close the Department of Education. They said that you cannot close the Department of Education and be pro-life, and those things are antithetical to one another. They focused in on the fact that educators pay a higher tax rate than billionaires, and they said that Kamala Harris will allow for child care to be facilitated in a more affordable way, as well as keep the Head Start program, two things that Project 2025, eliminates and or pushes to the margins. That she will increase the Pell Grant as well as increase funding for HBCUs. And they also focus on the fact that she will continue with the student loan forgiveness program as well as the public service forgiveness program. Next up was housing in terms of what will be happening there. And importantly, Marcia Fudge came out. This is about her second or third time on stage. And she is the former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. She's focused in on the fact that Kamala Harris will produce 3 million homes in rentals, that she will offer down payment assistance. And Marcia Fudge also introduced a term that we heard for the evening, which was later repeated in Kamala Harris's speech, the opportunity economy. And then Marcia Fudge also said, where you live determines how you live, and that Kamala Harris will bring about affordable housing. Then the evening had another theme of health care and Medicare. And here, Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan came out, and she said, listen, Trump is out of touch with the everyday person, that he's had a life of ease and comfort, that he's had chauffeurs, he's never been to the grocery store, but Kamala has. And she said that Kamala Harris will keep down the cost as well as out-of-pocket expenses, and that she will preserve Social Security. There are numbers of speakers as it relates to this theme, but Governor Gretchen Whitmer was definitely a focused speaker here. As it relates to independent and undecided voters, you had Leonardo Williams, who is the mayor of Durham, North Carolina, as well as Governor Ray Cooper from North Carolina, a swing state, come out and say, hey, listen, Kamala Harris is going to focus on the growth of business versus Trump's detrimental policies that we have experienced in our state, their state being North Carolina. Again, they brought up the opportunity economy, and they talked specifically to manufacturer workers to get on board with voting for Kamala. Then Adam Kinzinger, who's a former member of the House of Representatives and is a Republican, and came out and followed that same thing and said, hey, we need to do what's right here. Trump is not the person. Then another theme that came up for the evening was international stability and national security in the military. Here they presented Kamala Harris as the commander-in-chief, and that it be understood, and that she is able to be understood within that context, and the things that she's done to exemplify the fact that, hey, she will be an excellent commander-in-chief. They first of all say that she will stop these trading wars with China, obviously speaking to the fact of Trump's tariffs there, which I'll have a separate TikTok on. They said that she will prioritize prioritize national security as opposed to leveraging national security for personal deals. They said that Kamala Harris respects the military and will lead with and listen to military officials, unlike Trump. They focus on the fact that Trump skipped intelligence briefings, whereas Kamala Harris was on the Intelligence Committee and was there for every meeting. And importantly, former Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta said that we need a tough, cool-headed person behind the resolute desk, and that person is Kamala Harris. As it relates to the economy, Senator Elizabeth Warren came out. We all know she's sharp in this area, so perfect person to pick for this, among other individuals that also spoke to the economy, but she was the focus person. And she said that Kamala will take on big corporations, that she will stop corporations from buying up apartments and driving up rents. And she said that she would not trust Trump or J.D. Vance to even move her couch, let alone deal with the economy. And she said that Kamala Harris will continue to drive down inflation as well as get rid of greedflation, another term for price gouging, and that Kamala Harris will also bring harsher fines for corporations that do price gouging. What was also spoken to was firearm legislation, and folks that spoke in this area were Representative Lucy McBath, whose son passed away as a result of that, Sandy Hook survivors, Uvalde survivors as well, and Gabby Giffords. And also Tim Walz came to speak on this as well, not on this particular evening, but he spoke on it on night 3 because he is a hunter, but he spoke to the fact that, listen, some things don't need to be on the streets. So that was an important area there. So obviously an area the administration will focus on. Then Jason Grove of Colorado, it was his turn to bring out the Project 2025 book. That's been a consistent theme across all 4 nights. And the issues that he focused on Project 2025, and reading directly from the chapters, he focused on the fact that Project 2025 calls for the fact that Ukraine and NATO both be abandoned, and that Project 2025 will terminate national security and military advisors, and that it will also slash veteran benefits as well as privatize the VA. Obviously saying that Trump does not care about veterans, that here is what he's saying, but here is what is in print. Then from there, another theme that was addressed was the climate. Secretary Deb Haaland, who's the first Native American to serve in a secretary position, she recalled Kamala Harris's record with environmental issues, specifically oil companies, right? And how she sued them for damaging the environment. And Representative Maxwell Frost also spoke on this issue. He's from Florida. He's one of the youngest members of Congress. He said that Kamala Harris understands climate change and will enact helpful legislation to help curb what is going on there. Obviously, reproductive rights as well as women's autonomy remained a theme on night 4 as well. Courtney Baldwin, who's a survivor of trafficking, spoke to how Kamala Harris helped her. And from there, others spoke on the protection of all reproductive rights. And obviously, this will appeal to suburban women. And they also spoke to the fact that Kamala Harris will keep no-fault divorce in place. Very important topic there. Then you had a number of people come through and speak to Kamala Harris's character. These were other prosecutors and legal professionals. Maura Kelly said that Trump thinks he's above the law, but Kamala Harris understands the law and fights for everyone. Kamala Harris's family members also came out, as well as actress Eva Longoria and Maya Harris. Kamala Harris's sister also spoke. As relates to January 6th and former Trump supporters, obviously what happened January 6th and Trump's role in that was recalled, and former Trump supporters also did a video saying, hey, do not support this man, that he will send you up the river without a paddle, and this is not the man we need to be focusing on, okay? Then from there, we had various support for the Harris Walz ticket come from many politicians, right? And they also focused on the fact that Kamala Harris will sign the John Lewis Voting Act. Now, what were impactful moments of the evening? First of all, the Central Park 5. That should have been just a whole segment in and of itself to take much more time, because these were gentlemen that Donald Trump took out a whole newspaper ad in an effort to have them unalive, but they were there on the stage. And if you needed a visual representation of what Trump tried to do, those gentlemen on that stage, that was an impactful moment. And still to this day, and they called out the fact that still to this day, Trump says that their verdict was correct, but DNA evidence obviously proved otherwise. Kerry Washington was also a moment, and she taught the crowd how to say Kamala Harris's name appropriately. She said, listen, confusion is understandable, but disrespect is not. And so Kerry Washington and Kamala Harris's small nieces taught the crowd how to say her name, obviously saying that, hey, if children know how to say her name, then you should be able to say her name. And that is the recap for the first part of night 4. I'm going to come back and do Kamala Harris's speech, so I'll check you in part 2. Peace.